Good morning. I am Usha Rodriguez, and I have the honor of serving as the Dean of the Law School. Welcome to the commencement exercises for the University of Georgia School of Law, class of 2026. May I please ask that you ensure that your cell phones are turned off or placed on silent. I think the class will tell you that I am not afraid to confiscate a cell phone. As you are able, I invite you to stand for the national anthem presented by Mr. Dustin Batchelor.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much, Dustin. Please be seated. Members of the class of 2026, welcome to your law school commencement. Commencements are joyful times. Indeed, if you ask me, this is the single best day of the year. We call today commencement because it is a commencement. It is a beginning. It is the beginning of your life as a lawyer. But it is also an ending of a time of striving and learning and growing, an ending we mark with ceremony and ritual. Ceremonies are important because they provide a chance to take stock and to celebrate. Like all ceremonies, commencement comes with ritual, most notably your regalia. For 166 years, graduates of the School of Law have put on robes like these and received degrees and gone off into the world. The robes you wear today do more than mark this occasion. The robes you wear today bind you to the past and to the future of Georgia law. Now, I'm fresh from my own law school reunion, my reunion, in fact. That reunion was full of joy and reconnection. My memories of my 1L year remain as vivid now as they were 28 years ago. But I won't focus my remarks on your law school journey. You have two classmates that will speak to you today, whom I'm sure will remind you of the eventful times you've spent together. Just know, as a classmate said to me at my reunion, it's incredible how much lifelong meaning you'll take from a few short years. Even 10 or 20 years later, these are the ties that bind. Instead, today I want to talk to you about the importance of being more relational instead of being merely transactional. This may seem a little odd coming from a former transactional lawyer, but I want to urge you not to be transactional in your legal career. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I became dean last year, and before that, I was on the faculty for 20 years. So I taught 1/3 of these graduates contracts. Shout out to Section Y and Section X, and of course, Section Z. So it has been a year since I've taught any class at law school, except for a very exciting Friends and Family Day yesterday. I'll tell you, I am missing being in the classroom. So I'm going to tell you a little something about contracts. Some of my law students, at least, might remember hearing about Professor Stuart Macaulay, who was a young contracts professor at the University of Wisconsin in the 1980s. I did mention him in contracts class, Section Y, but don't worry, no cold calls today. Anyway, young Professor Macaulay wanted to figure out how contracts play out in real life, outside the textbook and even outside the courtroom. So he interviewed auto suppliers in Detroit, and also, because his father-in-law was the CEO, reviewed correspondence between S.C. Johnson Corporation and the famous architect Frank Lloyd Wright. And you know what Professor Macaulay found out? Disputes often arose between a parts supplier and General Motors, and disputes often arose between the company and its architect. I suspect many in the audience know that disputes often arise in a building project. But almost all of the time, the parties never even looked at the contract at all. Never looked at the piece of paper they'd spent days or weeks or months negotiating. They just worked things out. Now, don't mistake me. Contracts did matter. If the parties couldn't resolve their disputes informally, those contracts mattered a good deal. But most of the time, they didn't matter at all. What mattered was trust. What mattered was the relationship. A good relationship with those you interact with is the key to success in business. And having a good relationship with those you interact with can bring you great success in life. Indeed, having strong relationships will bring you great success in life. I know about the importance of relationships from my own legal career. And what's more, I've taught here for many years and have spoken with a lot of successful Georgia law alums. And what they tell me about is the relationships that they formed in law school. Relationships you formed with your friends, with your professors. They, as you go forth into the world, will give you advice. They will serve as references. They will give you business and even jobs. But you need to give in order to get. Give of yourself freely, and you will reap the rewards of those relationships. So stop now and take a moment to think about the relationships that you built here. First year, trying to figure out how to brief a case, then how to take an exam. Second year, clinics, advocacy, journals, seminars. You have built tremendous relationships with your colleagues, with the faculty, and with the staff. I urge you, nurture those relationships. Invest in those relationships. Those relationships will pay dividends for decades to come. You've had 3 years of our faculty pouring their attention, their care, their knowledge into you. And the incredible staff of the law school, the many unsung heroes from multiple departments that did their very best to make sure that your experience here was exceptional. They make this law school run, and they help you when you need it the most. Let's take time on this special day to thank them. And while we're thanking people, I've been talking to you graduates as if it's just you and us. But you didn't make it through those 3 years just by yourself. You came to us with relationships of your own, and those relationships saw you through law school. Your friends and family supported you through this long journey. So would all the parents of graduates please stand if you are able? We're not done yet, because I know there aren't just parents here. Would all the spouses and significant other parents keep on standing? Come on, you earned this. Would all the spouses and significant others, grandparents, siblings, relatives, friends, class, give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. All right, now back to being relational instead of transactional. I urge you to think about the law school itself as a relationship, not just a transaction. We have invested in you, poured our efforts into preparing you to be professionals. And now we let you go. But you can come back. You should come back, and you should give back. Think of your favorite professor. Think about that alum that reached out a helping hand to you. Now is the time for you to resolve to do the same, to give back to UGA Law. We need your time. We need your talents. So, class of 2026, invest in relationships. Make us proud. Take the time to celebrate all that you have done and all that you will do. Congratulations. Now it is a pleasure to introduce two of your own, your Student Bar Association President, Ms. Maggie Camfield, and your student and your class president, Mr. Antavius McCarden. Maggie Camfield completed her undergraduate studies at the University of Georgia, earning a Bachelor of Arts in International Affairs, a Bachelor of Arts in Finance with the International Business co-major, and a professional certificate in legal studies. In law school, Maggie dedicated herself to both her class and her law school community. As a 3-year SBA board member, most recently serving as executive president, she focused on student well-being, access to resources, and preserving the traditions that make the University of Georgia School of Law so special. She served as executive notes editor for the Georgia Journal of International and Comparative Law, competed on the negotiations team, and represented the school as a dean's ambassador. Maggie was also the recipient of the Julian McDonnell Award for Excellence in the Study of Commercial Law. After graduating, Maggie will clerk at the United States Bankruptcy Court for the Northern District of Georgia for the Honorable Judge Cavender. Antavius McCarden attended the University of Georgia as an undergraduate student, earning a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science along with minors in International Affairs and African Languages and Literature. In law school, Antavius served as the 1L, 2L, and 3L class president, vice president of Dean's Ambassadors, and senior articles editor for the Journal of Intellectual Property Law. He was also a graduate assistant at the law school's Office of Admissions, a member of the Moot Court Advocacy Program, a pupil in Clark Carley's Inn of Court, and nominated to the Order of the Barristers. After graduating law school, Antavius will join Holt Nay's litigation team in Atlanta, Georgia. Maggie and Antavius.
Thank you, Dean Rodriguez, for that very kind introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Maggie Campfield, and after 3 years of text, group me messages, and emails, they finally gave me a microphone. Before anything else, I want to take a moment to say thank you to our dean and administration. Thank you for leading this institution with care and intention, and for believing in this class. To our professors, thank you for pushing us, for never letting us take the easy answer, and for showing us that the law is not just a body of rules, but a living, breathing pursuit of justice. And to the staff who kept this place running day in and day out, who lifted us up with Irish dancers and puppies. You made this school feel like a home, a really, really fun one. And to the families and friends in this room, thank you. You listened when we needed to vent, showed up when we needed support, and never once made us feel like we were in this alone. Now to my fellow graduates, we are about to walk across the stage and be celebrated for everything we have accomplished, and we should be. We earned this. But before we get there, I want to talk about what actually made the last 3 years what they were. Because I think the reason this community is so special comes down to something simple. We saw each other as whole people, not just as students, not just as future lawyers, but as full, complicated, surprising human beings that we actually are. And once you truly see someone that way, showing up for them stops being a choice you have to make, and it just happens. This class is full of actors, artists, engineers, and educators. We have a tap dance instructor, a former international basketball player, someone with a twin that half of us somehow didn't know about, and what I can only describe as a covert operative from Canada. We studied cases about crooked noses and international shoes, and somehow all of it, the serious and the ridiculous, were woven together into something that felt like home. Every time you learned something unexpected about a classmate, it deepened something. It reminded you that the person sitting next to you had a whole life, a whole story, and a whole set of reasons for being here. And that made you care more. It made you invest more. It made you want to see them succeed. And so we did. We cheered on the dogs on Saturdays after weeks that had asked everything of us. We showed up to watch a classmate win a game show, because of course. We celebrated together and we leaned on each other, not out of obligation, but because we actually knew each other. And that is a rarer thing than it sounds. That is what the University of Georgia School of Law gave to us. Not just an education, but a genuine understanding of one another. And I think that is what will stay with us the longest. Not the cases we've memorized, but the people we became to each other along the way. And I think no one embodies this more than the person I get to introduce next. Though an introduction is hardly necessary, please welcome Antavius McCartan.
Thank you, Maggie. For those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Antavius McCartan, but most people call me Ant, like the insect. And I have the distinct pleasure of serving as the class president for the graduating class of 2026 here at the School of Law. I could not be prouder of the group of people that you see before you today. And yes, I'm talking about the ones in the funny-looking hats. As I look down, I'm filled with a real sense of gratitude and joy. 3 years ago, when we started this journey, most of us were strangers, a bunch of nervous, slightly confused first years trying to figure out where to sit, what a tort was, or how bad cold calls could really get. To my first year section, Section X, I couldn't have done it without you. Every word of encouragement, every phone call, every laugh, every shared outline, it all mattered. While I may not know how much a thumb is worth, thank you, Professor Birch, I do know how much you mean to me. Section X, forever. To our entire class, today we are so much more than that group of strangers who met at the Early Start program where Frank Easterlin fought for his right to stay in our class, or at orientation where Brennan Cox told us to dance with the girls we take to prom. Today we are a family of confidants, supporters, teammates, partners, parents, and siblings. And for some of us, we'll even be future colleagues, which is exciting or mildly concerning, depending on who you ask. But what matters most is that we are all Bulldogs. And the thing about Bulldogs is they never truly bark alone. Today, we join a community of alumni from the University of Georgia that spans across the world, and that is something worth celebrating. As I was thinking about what to say today about everything that we've been through and about everything that lies ahead, one word kept coming to mind: patience. Henry David Thoreau once said, "The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it." And if that's true, then we've paid a mighty steep price. Late nights in the annex, early mornings scrambling to finish our readings, skipped meals, canceled plans, missed birthdays and holidays, spending 11 minutes on that one page trying to figure out exactly what footnote 33 was supposed to be talking about, and questionable sleep schedules, to which I am guilty. But at the end of the day, we're better off because of it, because of this experience. Not only did we learn that we can do hard things, but we also learned that some things are just worth waiting for. Over the past 3 years, I've learned that everything comes in time, even if it's not as quickly as I'd like. So as we step into this next chapter, I encourage each of you to hold on to the people and the moments that are worth waiting for. And if no one else has told you yet today, I'm proud of you. Congratulations, class of 2026. And you're not done with me yet, but it is now my pleasure to introduce the current president-elect of the Law School Alumni Council, Francis Johnson. Francis Johnson is from Sylvania, Georgia, and is a partner at Davis Bozeman Johnson Law. Francis has served in ordained ministry for more than 20 years. He is the senior minister at Mount Moriah Baptist Church in Pembroke and Magnolia Baptist Church in Statesboro. Mr. Johnson was a 2018 Democratic nominee of Georgia's 12th Congressional District. And as a trial lawyer, Francis Johnson practices criminal law and civil law in the state and federal courts. He is a member of the at-large of the Board of Governors of the State Bar of Georgia and the Chief Justice's Commission on Professionalism. A graduate of Georgia Southern University and the University of Georgia School of Law, Johnson previously served on the political science and criminal justice faculties at Georgia Southern University and Savannah State. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Johnson.
Good morning to the class of 2026. You have made it to the end of this part of the journey, and let me say congratulations. Can we parenthetically pause and congratulate the class of 2026? When I began at this university 25 years ago, many of you were beginning life. Some of you were learning to walk. Some of you were learning to read. And look at you now, graduates of one of the finest law schools in this country. And that reminds me, and it should remind all of us, of something that is very important. I so appreciate your remarks on patience. But this is also important. As you engage patients, know that no two journeys to this moment have ever looked the same, and your journeys from this moment will not look the same. For some of you, this journey has taken 3 years. For others, it might have taken longer. Before you got here, life happened. Life will continue to happen. Children happened, careers happened, loss happened, detours happened, and they will continue to happen. But whether your journey to this place has taken you 3 years, or you've gone from this place 25 years, there's an old truth about journeys. Eventually, every journey will ask you the same questions. Where have you come from? Where are you now? And where are you going? Individuals must answer those questions. Families must answer those questions. This institution has to answer those questions, and our nation has to answer those questions. And perhaps this is why this moment is so special today. Because on this journey of individuals, the journey of an institution, the journey of a nation, we find ourselves standing exactly where you are right now, between what has been and what will be. And in moments like these, you discover something very important, that being uncertain, and this is a very uncertain time, is not the same as being lost. But it will require you in moments like this to be honest about where you've come from, where you are, and where you're going, because when you leave this place today, your life will answer those questions with every step that you take. Now, this is an emotional time for me. It's an emotional time for you. This is a part funeral, something is ending. It's a part wedding, something is beginning. And that is why everybody has emotions in this room. Emotions because you survived. Emotions because you've learned to thrive and forge new relationships that will serve you and you will serve over the course of your life. Families are emotional because maybe you will start contributing instead of taking cash apps and payments, etc. And beneath all of the joy of this moment is sacrifice, because nobody reaches a moment like this alone. Behind every graduate is somebody who prayed for you, encouraged you, sacrificed for you, refused to let you quit. And before we say anything else this morning, can we parenthetically pause and give some praise to God for those who helped you along the way? In closing, you are a part of more than a ceremony today. As you cross this stage, you are a part of a crossing, and this consequential moment in your life aligns with a consequential moment in history. You came to age during a period shaped by political division, artificial intelligence, economic uncertainty, public distrust, and a growing question about truth itself. But yet you have adapted, you have persevered, you've kept going, and you are going to keep going. And that matters because the world you are entering doesn't merely need talented people. All of you are talented. It needs grounded people, ethical people, courageous people. The motto, Mr. Provost, of this university says to teach and to inquire into the nature of things. And if you inquire deeply enough into the nature of things, you will eventually confront difficult truths about democracy and justice and inequality and human dignity. And you will discover that institutions do not sustain themselves automatically, and freedom is never self-executing. And perhaps that is why this moment matters so much, because you are graduating at a time when the courts across this country are issuing precedent-busting decisions, reshaping the boundaries of rights, reshaping the boundaries of voting and privacy and representation and democracy itself. Long-settled assumptions are now being questioned, established precedents are being revisited, and legal doctrines many believed were settled are now subject to the most fierce national debates. The Supreme Court's ongoing Voting Rights Act decision will not simply live out in the constitutional textbooks which you are leaving behind. Your generation will help to determine the metes and bounds of their application in real communities, impacting real lives, not in theory, but in practice. And history teaches us something important about institutions. They do not become great simply because they are old, and this is the oldest public serving institution of its kind in this nation. They become great because generation after generation chooses to fight for their highest ideas. When the University of Georgia was desegregated in January of 1961, it took the courage of Hamilton Holmes and Charlene Hunter Galt, but the work of opening the law school unfolded across years of struggle and persistence. When I was a student, I remember getting to meet and I got to know during his life the Honorable United States District Judge Horace T. Ward. Judge Ward was once an applicant to this law school. He was denied because he was black. Think about that for a moment. A man who would later become the first African-American United States District Court judge for Georgia was once told there was no place for him at this flagship institution. Not because he lacked intellect or discipline or character, because segregation convinced this institution to mistake exclusion for excellence. Rather than surrender his dream, Judge Ward attended another university, Northwestern, and later returned to Georgia determined to help transform the very system that rejected him. Alongside civil rights attorneys Donald Lee Hollowell and Constance Baker Motley, they opened the door for Chester Davenport and former Chief Justice Robert Benham, first and second graduates who looked like me from this institution. And he helped move Georgia closer to our ideas. Judge Ward and his generation understood something fundamental, that apartheid and exclusion are incompatible with democracy. And because they fought, the doors opened. And in 1974, Sharon Neota Tucker became the first African-American woman to graduate from this school. Imagine that for a moment. If Georgia had not opened its doors and remained closed. Imagine the arguments that would have never been made, the communities that would have never been represented, the wisdom this institution would have denied itself, and some of the national championships this university now proudly celebrates may have never been won had this institution remained closed to so much talent, discipline, creativity, and leadership. But because this institution widened opportunity, excellence expanded with it. The University of Georgia did not become weaker because more people were allowed to contribute to its history. It became stronger, and it is strong today. And that history matters. You can give that a hand. Your intelligence is not enough. Even these credentials that you're about to be awarded are not enough, and your influence is not enough. The world has enough of all of that. It has enough influencers. It needs trustworthy people. People who keep their word, people who tell the truth when dishonesty is profitable, people who understand that leadership is not about visibility but about responsibility. Please do not become one of those graduates who disappears the moment your diploma clears. Don't be that person. Institutions like this survive because generations decide not to merely benefit from them, but to help build them. And as president-elect of this council, we invite you to that work. And years from now, when the applaud of today fades, life will continue to ask you the same questions. Where did you come from? Where are you now? And where are you going? And when you leave this place, may your life answer those questions with courage, integrity, compassion, and service, and may with every step you take, may it bring us all closer, a little closer, to a better version of ourselves. Congratulations to the class of 2026.
Good morning. My name is Tina Bott, and I am your 3L class vice president. It has been an honor to serve our class for the past 2 years, and today I have the honor of introducing our commencement speaker. Delivering our commencement address today is Chief Justice Nels S.C. Peterson of the Georgia Supreme Court. Chief Justice Peterson was appointed to the Georgia Supreme Court in 2016 and was elected to full 6-year terms in 2018 and 2024. He previously served in a variety of other roles in Georgia state government, including as a judge on the Georgia Court of Appeals, general counsel for the University System of Georgia, Georgia's first Solicitor General in the Attorney General's office, and executive counsel to the governor. Before entering state government, Chief Justice Peterson practiced at King & Spalding in Atlanta and clerked for Chief Judge William H. Pryor, Jr. of the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit. He is a graduate of Kennesaw State University and Harvard Law School. Chief Justice Peterson.
I think I heard some owls over there. Thank you, Tina, for that kind introduction. Provost Ayers, Dean Rodriguez, distinguished members of the Platform Party, faculty, staff, family, friends, and the 2026 graduating class. Today is a big deal. In a few minutes, maybe an hour and a half, when I finally finish, you'll walk across this stage, shake some hands, and be handed a diploma. You'll take it home, and most of you will frame it. It'll look good on an office wall. But that's not why today is a big deal. Today is a big deal for 2 reasons. Number 1, all the years of hard work and commitment that has led you here. And number 2, all the future years of hard work and commitment to which today opens the door. Because that's what being a great lawyer is. It's hard work and commitment. Now, you've just finished a bunch of hard work. You're not here to listen to somebody drone on about more of it. And don't worry, I'm not talking about the bar exam. There should be a law against talking about the bar exam during graduation. So let me start with the hard work you've already done. The dean and your fellow graduates have already gone over that in greater detail than I can. But today recognizes that you have completed something truly remarkable, and you have done it at a truly remarkable place. Just gaining admission to UGA Law School meant that, as Coach Smart would say, you have elite potential. And graduating, after years of study, clinics, summer jobs, and deep engagement across a range of fascinating areas, makes crystal clear not just your potential, but also your commitment to doing the hard work of realizing that potential. Your hard work over the last 3 years, though, is most significant because of the future that it enables. And that future is where I want to spend most of my time this morning. I have 2 big ideas that I hope stick with you. The 2 big ideas both stem from the principle that law is not just a job, it's a profession. You have heard, and will continue to hear that said over and over again. Often it's said by people who aren't terribly clear about what it means. And sometimes people who are clear about what it means to them are asking you to do something for free. Now, pro bono service is really important, and I hope you do a lot of it. But I think the idea of legal practice as a profession and not just a job is broader than pro bono work. And it means at least 2 other things that should shape how you approach your practice. First and most fundamentally, it means that you have a responsibility to support and defend the rule of law. The rule of law is the idea that no one is above the law's requirements or beneath its protections. And the rule of law has always been fragile because by its very nature, it requires the strong and the rich to accept outcomes in favor of the weak and the poor. It requires popular majorities of all kinds to accept outcomes in favor of small, unpopular minority groups. And it requires the most powerful of all, the government, to accept and obey limits on government power. This has rarely happened throughout human history. What we have had in this country for nearly 250 years, as imperfect as it has been, especially here in the South, is so rare, and yet we often take it for granted. If we are to continue to enjoy the many blessings that flow from the rule of law, we cannot take it for granted. And lawyers in particular are and must be its guardians. So what can you do to help make sure the rule of law is protected and not taken for granted? Well, start by recognizing that this is an all-hands-on-deck responsibility. It's easy to dismiss talk about the rule of law as focused on public interest litigators and government lawyers and public defenders. But the rule of law is the foundation of all legal practice. If you plan to practice trust in estates, the rule of law is the only way that you can advise a client with confidence that if you put these assets in that trust, the government can't get your money. If you plan to do mergers and acquisitions for big corporations, the rule of law is the only way you can advise a client with confidence that if you structure the big transaction a particular way, a key risk is mitigated. Without the rule of law making contracts enforceable in predictable ways, all of those carefully negotiated deals are just ink on paper. And the same is true if you plan to do real estate, or land use, or business litigation, or family law. And if you plan to do admiralty law or ERISA, well, I don't actually know what admiralty lawyers or ERISA lawyers do, but I am confident that the rule of law is critical to them too. So recognize that defending the rule of law is now your responsibility. But don't just stop at defending it. Advocate for it. The rule of law only works if the public at large accepts it. That requires the public to have trust and confidence in our legal system. And lawyers play a big role in whether the public has that trust and confidence. Now, our legal system has flaws. Any system made up of imperfect humans will have flaws. But it is still the best system anyone has ever come up with for resolving disputes. Encourage your friends and neighbors to have confidence in that system and do your part to mend its flaws and to make it better. And that brings me to the second big idea that I want to leave you with. The Georgia rules of professional conduct are the ethical rules that Georgia lawyers must follow. Every state has their own version. Failure to follow those rules can cause a lawyer to be disciplined or even disbarred. And the rules with the most serious penalties generally involve lying or stealing, especially involving courts or clients. These rules are important, and we have to talk about them because some people break them every year. Don't be one of those people. But keeping those rules, as important as it is, doesn't make us particularly special. Don't steal, don't cheat, don't hurt other people. That's a standard we generally expect kindergartners to satisfy. No one has ever said, "That guy is terrific, he's never stolen from me." These are rules about how not to do bad things. But simply not doing bad things doesn't make you a good person. And a healthy, positive culture is about more than not doing bad things. It's about the members of a community seeking to be good people with each other. The challenge, of course, with focusing on being a good person instead of just not doing bad things is that you can't actually write an enforceable set of rules about being good people. Enforceable rules against doing bad things aren't hard to write. They clearly identify the bad thing you're not to do, and they identify the possible punishment for breaking that rule. Our criminal laws work this way too. But rules for being a good person don't work that way. What if a rule required you to be kind? Just how kind do you have to be to satisfy that rule? What about a more specific rule requiring you to speak kindly? Setting aside the obvious First Amendment problems, how many kind things do you have to say to someone to qualify? 3 sort of kind things, or 1 really kind thing? What if my college football team lost last night? Do I get my kindness graded on a more generous curve? And how do you even quantify kindness to begin with? Now, many religious faiths have answers to these questions. In my Christian tradition, for example, we're called to love each other and to treat each other as we want to be treated. And my faith community is responsible for encouraging each other to act accordingly and to hold me accountable when I don't. But faith communities don't have to satisfy the due process and First Amendment standards that apply to the legal system. So how do we as a legal system move beyond the compliance-based approach of enforceable ethics rules that merely prohibit bad things and find our way towards standards that encourage good? Viewing law as a profession is part of the answer. Because we have not 1, but 2 sets of rules that apply to lawyers. I already mentioned the first set, the rules of professional conduct, about not doing bad things that are binding, that have consequences for breaking those rules. We call these rules ethics. But the second set is aspirational and not binding. We refer to this second set as professionalism. While the idea of professionalism is broad, we have 2 parts of professionalism rules that are written down. I'm going to focus today only on the first part because it's concise, and the second is 5 single-space pages, and nobody has time for that this morning. This first part of the aspirational standards of professionalism is called the Lawyer's Creed. It's made up of 6 promises, each to a different stakeholder in the legal system. To my clients, I offer faithfulness, competence, diligence, and good judgment. I will strive to represent you as I would want to be represented and to be worthy of your trust. To the courts and to other tribunals and to those who assist them, I offer respect, candor, and courtesy. I will strive to do honor to the search for justice. To my colleagues in the practice of law, I offer concern for your welfare. I will strive to make our association a professional friendship. To the profession, I offer assistance. I will strive to keep our business a profession and our profession a calling in the spirit of public service. To the public and our system of justice, I offer service. I will strive to improve the law and our legal system, to make the law and our legal system available to all, and to seek the common good through the representation of my clients. These are good aspirational statements. So how do we turn them into action without making them mandatory? Several things. First, we require annual continuing legal education on professionalism. Those of you practicing in Georgia, good luck. Every Georgia lawyer has to sit through at least 1 hour every year to be reminded of this high calling. My court was the first high court in the country to create an organization focused on professionalism. The Chief Justice's Commission on Professionalism is made up of a broad and diverse group of some of the state's most well-respected lawyers and judges. 2 of them are on this platform, Dean Chapman and Attorney Johnson. They work throughout the year to advance and publicize the value of professionalism. We hold events, especially for young lawyers, in which highly successful lawyers model these values for those coming after them. We don't force anyone to be professional, but we teach, we encourage, we exhort, we model, and we occasionally require you to be present while we do those things. Take these values seriously, and in turn model them for those who come after you. But I said there were 6 promises in the Lawyer's Creed, and I read only 5. I saved for the last one, the one that I think our culture most undervalues right now. To the opposing parties and their counsel, I offer fairness, integrity, and civility. I will seek reconciliation, and if we fail, I will strive to make our dispute a dignified one. This idea of civility is a critical one, and I think it's important to define the term. Some people mistake civility for an artificial politeness that wholly fails to conceal their contempt. The Southern tradition of saying "bless your heart," when what you really mean are words considerably less appropriate to repeat at an event like this one. That is not what we mean by civility. We mean treating each person like a human being with inherent worth and dignity, even when we think them completely and horribly wrong about something important. In a sense, civility is too small a word for the idea that the inherent worth and dignity of my fellow human transcends whatever they're wrong about. But it's the word we use. And think about it. This promise of civility is made even for cases that are really important. Murder prosecutions, massive personal injury cases with millions of dollars on the line, critical public interest litigation with significant individual rights at stake, even elections. And that's the key point here. Civility isn't a luxury reserved for situations with little at stake. To reject this idea, to say there are some issues too important to treat our fellow humans as all having inherent worth and dignity, is to reduce people to merely a means to an end. And that is a dangerous place for our culture to go. None of this is new. Our society has treated people as a means to an end many times, and never with good results. But we can't fix that by just changing the end for which we use people as means. So make a personal commitment to begin your professional life with an emphasis on true civility. See those around you as having inherent worth and dignity, no matter what you might disagree with them about, and treat them accordingly. The reputation you will earn if you do this will be worth far more than money, and the communities of which you are a part will be richer for it. Those are my two big ideas for you today. You are now a guardian of the rule of law, and even in the heat of the fiercest legal battle, treat all those around you with inherent worth and dignity. I do have one last piece of advice, though. My friend Justice John Ellington, who is here somewhere, tells new lawyers, there's life outside the courthouse. Get one. There is a lot of wisdom in that, but what it looks like varies widely from one person to another. For Justice Ellington, that means things like hunting and growing prize-winning roses and being the most passionate dog fan you will ever meet. But when you're working 80 to 100-hour weeks, the need to find life outside of work can sometimes feel like just one more thing on the tall stack of other things you're already failing at. That's not the point of that advice. Here's how I frame it for myself. Don't find your identity in your work. Judging is what I do. It isn't who I am. My identity is found principally in relationships: husband, father, Christian, friend. As the dean already talked about, emphasize relationships over transactional engagement with people. Jobs come and go. Many of them that I have had profound purpose, and that's good. And the law often offers opportunities for work with profound purpose. But none of my jobs, including the one I hold now, has had ultimate purpose. Being a lawyer is a good and honorable calling. Your service to the client and the public can and should have deep purpose. but find your identity instead in things of ultimate purpose. And if you do, your service to the rule of law, to your clients, and to the public will be richer for it. Congratulations to each and every one of you. You will do great things.
Thank you so much, Chief Justice Peterson, for those remarks. I know that we all feel that our judiciary is in good hands under your watch. Members of the class of 2026, it is time for the conferring of degrees. That's right. Provost Ayers, on behalf of the faculty of the University of Georgia School of Law, I am so pleased and proud to introduce the candidates for the degrees of Master in the Study of Law, Master of Laws, and Juris Doctor. Will the candidates please rise? Okay, I messed up a little bit. Dean Chapman, come on back. I'm sorry about this. I got pretty excited. Dean Chapman has a few remarks to make. Candidates, please continue standing. I think that's appropriate. Dean Chapman.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Chief, for that wise message. Candidates, you may have a seat for a minute. My name is Professor Nathan Chapman. As the Associate Dean for Faculty Development, it is my honor to introduce the faculty. For our guests, this is going to be a true introduction, but for our students, a reminder. The faculty are some of the finest lawyers in the country. They graduated with top marks from top law schools, including this one. They clerked for outstanding judges, including justices of the U.S. Supreme Court and the Georgia Supreme Court. And they practiced worldwide in government, corporate practice, commercial litigation, and public interest. They chose to devote their careers to advancing the knowledge of the law and to preparing the next generation of lawyers for the crucial work of seeking justice through law. You might be like my mom, or like the children's author Richard Scarry, and you wonder, what do law professors do all day? As members of a major research university, we produce scholarship for the benefit of the bench, bar, and society. In the past 5 years, for instance, members of this faculty have published 19 books and hundreds of law review articles. They have presented their findings hundreds of times to scholars, legislators, judges, and lawyers on every inhabited continent. On the faculty's behalf, I would like to thank the graduates who have served as research assistants. We're really grateful for your help, and we hope the experience has sharpened your analytical thinking and writing skills wherever your career takes you. The faculty also have the happy duty of teaching students what we know of the law and its real-world impact on society. We do this through courses that focus on specific areas of the law, and through clinics, where students join exceptional attorneys and educators to serve clients in need. Our most satisfying role, though, by far, is as mentors. Our most enduring professional memories and our legacy as professors will be measured in discussions after class, moot court practices, career advice, trivia nights, and impromptu debates about maybe Beyonce versus Tay-Tay. With that, let me ask the faculty to stand. Please join me in thanking them for their dedication and service to the law school and our grads. Thank you. Please have a seat. Now, on behalf of the faculty to the class of 2026, It's been a privilege and a great pleasure to teach you, to work with you, and to learn from you. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for working hard. And thank you for entering the profession with courage and integrity. And congratulations. We look forward to celebrating your many professional successes to come. Yeah, we can do it. Now, the law school has a tradition of having faculty read the names of our graduates. In a moment, you'll hear the names for 3 sets of degree candidates, and it's my pleasure to introduce the marshals. Allison Hale is the faculty advisor for the Master in the Study of Law program, and she will read the names of the MSL candidates. Christopher Bruner, the Stembler Family Distinguished Professor in Business Law and the faculty co-director of the Dean Rusk International Law Center, will read the names of students from countries around the world who are earning their LLM degrees. And finally, former Dean of the Law School and Talmadge Chair Bo Rutledge and I, as requested by the graduating class, will read the names of the Juris Doctor candidates.
All right, now it's time for the conferring of degrees. Provost Ayers, again, I am pleased to introduce the candidates for the degrees of Master in the Study of Law, Master of Laws, and Juris Doctor. Candidates, please stand.
Members of the class of 2026, today marks the successful conclusion of your studies at the University of Georgia. I congratulate you all on this significant milestone achievement. I hope that you'll stay connected to the faculty and friends who have supported you during your journey. Today, you are receiving a degree from one of the nation's leading public law schools. I encourage you to use that knowledge and talent to benefit individuals, communities, and society as a whole. It is indeed my honor to officially confer the degree to you that you have worked so hard for. By the authority granted to me by the President of the University of Georgia and by the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, I now confer upon you the degrees of Master in the Study of Law, Master of Laws, or Juris Doctor, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations. Please be seated.
Now, for those of you in the first row only, please follow the directions of the row marshals. As your name is called, please cross the stage and accept congratulations from me, Chief Justice Peterson, Provost Ayers, and Francis Johnson. When that row is complete, the next row may follow.
Rian Baraki. Maya Nicole Commodore. Chase Ellis. Parker George. Diamond T. Lewis. Isabel Madavi.
Emmanuel Adetoyan. Yandira Alpirez Orantes. Victor Azuri. Catherine Benisson. Annie Caroline Ferry Victoria. Bushra Haq. Caroline Wambui Kamau. Daniel Kohl. Ji Hun Lee. Andre Benson Niveau. Favor Offray Odia. Anu Podell. Chantel Pleasant. Shraddha Arjun Prasai.
Giovanna Aceves. Robert Anderson. Curtis Armour. John Arnold. Emma Rose Bagwell. Jacob Barnes. Anna Heisted Barrett. Alexis Bartholomew. Adam John Bartnicki. Dustin Batchelor. Vivian Beadle. Joshua Ballou. Tina Bott. Sarah Ann Bittner. Elizabeth Morgan Boland. William Thomas Bowden. Sydney McCrae Boyd. Megan Greeley Bradford. Catherine Frances Brennan. Courtney L. Britt. Allison Brown. Jared Michael Brown. Catalina Maria Buchek. Lucas Budicki. Ashley Lene Burgess. Elizabeth Burns. Jordan Busby. Derek Lee Bush. Trenton Harvey Butler. Margaret Camfield. Abby Campbell. Margaret Frances Carlton. Sarah Eve Carruthers. Pace Cassell. Christopher Caudell. Cole Thomas Chisholm. Carter Christopher. Carson Christie. William Corey. Andrew Kenneth Cox. Eleanor Victoria Cox. Grace Kraft. Chandler Scott Creswell. Aaron Michael Dasher. Justin Davenport. Maya Elena Davis. Dresden Lee Day. Harrison Demas. Dana Maram Diab. Lauren Elizabeth Didelot. Caroline Lee Dodson. John Donnelly. Millicent Dye. Frank Easterlin. Kendall Edwards. Kellyanne Elliott. Amelia Christine Englund. Mary Elizabeth Intrican. Mason Charles Favreau. Joseph Marvin Fiegel II. Autumn Samantha Fields. Sophie Finn Storen. Logan Flynn. Kiro Ashraf Gaddlerab. Adoris Marie Gibbs. Julia Anastasia Gillies. Jameson Glenn. Nicole Patrice Golson. Christian Alexander Gonzalez. Nicholas Ryan Grabowski. Cade Mitchell Greason. Tanner Groves. Ethan Hammond. Alexis Ann Hardy. Sarah Hawkins. Rogers Hayden. Tamaris Mackenzie Henderson. Avery Christian Hill. Daryl Hillman. Kayla Janice Holmes. Brianna House. Taylor Nicole Hoying. Haley Madison Hughes. Caitlin W. Holsey.
David Cole Jacobs. Dogs never bark alone. Kate Edmund Jeffries. Elise Joffe. Jackson Kaplan Johansson. Grace Johnson. James Logan Joyner. Jediah R. Jones. Miles Dacus Kadri. Kenneth W. Kendrick III. Kamara Alea King. Alyssa Kirby. John Douglas Kirby. Russell Kaiser. Negesan Clement Kouame. Bogdan Krivots. Francis Marion Kronagi. Andrea Danielle Kidd. Clara McClung Leggett. Olivia Levine. Laylee Mahoney. Michael Malkowski. William Casho Maddox. Antavius Leeshawn Mucarden. John Michael McDevitt. Robert Meyer. Benjamin Michaud. Ian Douglas Moore. Michael Joshua Moran. Samantha Motley. Emily Willard Munger. Gabriel Murphy. Abigail Nand. Eric A. Narbo. Katie O'Neill. Eunice Park. Jawan Parker. Harsh Patel. Hannah Michelle Peters. Morgan Elizabeth Foll. Quinn Fan. Mallory Plunkett. Benjamin Alexander Privitera. Eric Mason Pruitt. Brooke Elise Ranieri. Carly Perrin Reed. Grace Ellen Regetz. Bailey Hunt Renfro. Madison Rhodes. Louis Anthony Rico II. Abigail Elizabeth Rimmer. Jackson Christopher Rowe. Alexis Rubin. Zoe Nicole Ryan. Robert John Saunders. Ellis Schmidt. Anna Saunders. Ellis Schmidt. KD Mary Beth Schweitzer. Good. Kemper Cade Scott. Jesse Leo Sebring. Timothy Sexton. Vishruth Singareddy. Benjamin Russell Smith. Casey Elizabeth Smith. Hunt Smith. Patrick Smith. Robert L. Snipes II. Kyra Jade Stacy. Savannah Stanley. Trudy Kate Sunderberg. John Luke Sorowick. Ethan Thomas. Holiday Claire Thomas. Ashton Brent Thomason. Jessica Thompson. John Tomlin. Charlotte Louise Umanoff. Supreme Unukegwo. Rosalie Josephine Vendrell. Ian Waldron. Gordon Wayne. Lauren Riley White. Emma Whitmore. Seth Croft Ware. Carrington Steele Wilkes. Aubrey Ellen Wilson Wade. Mark Winnicor. Addison Camille Workman. Christian Wynn. Ready? And let's break the decibel meter. Chloe P. Yarbrough.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present the UGA School of Law Class of 2026. Now I'll give a few stage directions. First, the platform party will exit the stage when the music begins. After the platform party, the marshals, and then the faculty. Graduates, you will follow the faculty, recessing row by row, starting with the left back row first. Following your recess, you may exit into the atrium. Family and friends, please remain in your seats until our graduates have exited, and then proceed to your nearest exit to meet your graduate, either in the atrium or outside, and take as many photos as you would like. Once more, let's give a round of applause for the University of Georgia School of Law, Class of 2026.